The Wheeling Plan Commission meeting for Thursday, May 28th is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Commissioner Dorband.
I am here.
Commissioner Johnson, I am here. Commissioner Powers.
Here.
Commissioner Stylen.
Here.
Commissioner Zangara gave prior notice that he would not be here, and Chairman Rafato.
Here. Mr. Jennings, any changes to the agenda?
We have no changes this evening.
Okay, citizens' concerns and comments. At this time, any citizens can come up and speak about items other than those items for review. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on any topics? Nope, thank you. Consent items, we have none. Items for review, docket number PC 15-7 Northgate Crossing, 100 through 250 Northgate Parkway, minor site plan and appearance approval of modifications to approved building color scheme. Mr. Jennings?
Thank you. The development is currently under construction. The Planning Commission last saw it probably a year and a half ago, I believe, for a public meeting. The developer, during the construction process, set out the siding colors that had been approved in conjunction with the final PUD plans. The developer was not satisfied with the color selection upon seeing it in daylight on the site. The team got together and tried out a variety of samples and found two new color schemes for the buildings and have proposed them as you see in your packets. They're here to present that and answer your questions.
Mr. James?
And you have control of that mouse.
Great. Thank you very much. My name is Warren James. I'm principal of Riva Development Partners. We're the developers of Northgate Crossing. Andrew, thanks for the introduction. And I learned early on, never pick anything under artificial light and don't do it with small samples. So we took the color samples that we had proposed. We have constructed large-scale sample panels behind the church. I don't know if you've all had the opportunity to get out there and take a look at that. The brick is consistent with the brick that we selected, found a very nice, rich red brick. Comfortable with that. The roof color, the weathered wood, and the trim color, Arctic white, all are, we're locked in on those. Those are consistent. The combination of the siding and the trim, the siding and the shake. So we have two different cement fiber materials on the siding, and that is the focus of our presentation tonight. The sample panels, let's see, Andrew, can you advance to the next one? This one's not working. There we go. The samples here, that's a picture of these same boards taken in daylight. So we have, let me see, can you go to the next slide?
Sure.
Thanks. By way of reference, this is the Oaks of Vernon Hills. And there we used a much more beige color brick that really recedes and a much more prominent darker blue color. And if you go to the next slide with the cream on top, the contrasting building has more of the greenish siding, again with the same brick color. In a similar context, we've gone to a red, which is the more dominant color in the brick, and thus chose to use a little more muted hues for Northgate. So if you go to the next slide, that's the clubhouse. So this was the original color scheme. And again, renderings is very difficult to get the computer and the printer to provide an accurate rendition of what the color looks like. So this is what was originally pitched. Go to the next slide. This is what we're proposing. The lighter of the two tones on the cement fiber shake on top, and the darker of the tone on the bottom. I believe here, what you're seeing rendered right now are these two colors. That is cobblestone. Really? Aged pewter is the darker, and cobblestone is the lighter. And then the Arctic trim, Arctic white trim. If you go to the next slide, this is the other color scheme. Again, we've chosen to put the lighter color on top, the darker hue on the siding, and then the red brick. And that's Arctic white with night gray and pearl gray. And that's what we're referring to as the gray scheme. This was the original approved clubhouse. I never liked the way the rendering captured what the computer said the greenish hue is on top. We also, you get the sense from this with the dark on top and the light on the bottom, it's a little funky. So we've gone back, go to the next slide, and we're proposing the aged pewter with the cobblestone on top. I think these, again, we encourage you, if you have any reservations of these color samples, to go out and see them in person behind the church. Churches can be demoed pretty quick, but the sample panels are up against the wall. It's not just me making this decision. My wife would chuckle if it was just me, but we did have consultation with designers and architects come out multiple times, trying multiple schemes until we arrived at this, and one that we're comfortable recommending to you tonight.
Anything else, Mr. Hughes?
That's it.
Okay.
And I do have, just to illustrate the daylight, we do have the photograph of the
Yeah.
samples. I can open that up as you move on to the questions from the commission.
We'll start with Commissioner Powers.
I have nothing, thank you.
Commissioner Johnson?
The only thing I had, I have no trouble with the color change. The staff recommended the mechanical unit well being a darker color.
Yeah, absolutely. That was all part of the plan. So we would match the aged pewter, which is close to the roof tone. That would be the siding inside the well, and there's also a screen to go up on the exterior.
So do you really see that from ground level?
You'll see about a 24-inch gap. So the roof goes up, there's a 24-inch gap so that a serviceman can get to that rooftop unit, and then that stops at about 36 inches, and then the roof plane on either side continues up. We would propose to put a screen in there as well, but the rooftop unit should be below that level.
Okay.
Yeah, we're very sensitive to that, so yeah, we're taking the staff's recommendation on the screening.
That's all I had.
Commissioner Dorman?
Well, I wish that we had known those colors were up on the buildings before tonight's meeting, because I certainly would have gone over there and looked at them, because it's really hard to look at those or the pictures and get a real good feel of what they look like on the building. But having said that, I feel that these colors are really dark, and I guess I'm a little disappointed. I hope for something with a little more life and something a little more interesting. You showed pictures of Vernon Hills, and I guess I like that combination. I like those that look better. I don't know how far along you are with the roof and the purchase of the roof, but I just think
The roof between Vernon and here, same roof shingle.
Okay, but what I'm saying, I
Yeah.
guess, maybe a lighter roof would have changed my feeling about how this looked, but I just feel it's really dark.
I'm sorry that we didn't get notice to go back to the.
That I think I had intended to put that in the staff notes for this, so that is my fault. I thought that I had included that when I sent the Plan Commission sync notice out for this one, so I apologize for that. That is my mistake.
Yeah, I don't know that I feel comfortable making a decision not having seen it now that I know that it's up there. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. Steilen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of share Pam's concern. I don't like the gray on gray scheme. I think that really puts a dark shadow on the entire building, and would really prefer that you stick with the original B color scheme for the gray on gray portion, and I'm okay with the other cobblestone color. I think that would be okay. It's just the gray on gray to me looks very, very dark.
like the opportunity to just take it back into the natural light, because it is hard to see. I don't know if
It's hard to see.
you can see it any better here. It does actually have a little more of a blue hue to it, this gray, and this is a fairly light, pearl
Yeah.
gray is a pretty light
Outside.
color, very light tone.
Sure. How about if we take 5 and bring those outside and look at them outside?
Yeah, we could do that. The other thing I would, if you want to take a look at the samples, I know we're obviously, we're moving along. We've got a lot going on. The clubhouse is scheduled with this scheme. And the first building is also scheduled with that color scheme. So if you're comfortable with that, then let's proceed. If there's an opportunity to go out there and look at it in real daylight, that's just the best thing I can recommend. If you want to go outside and look
Sure,
at it,
let's go outside.
you can do that too.
We can
Great.
adjourn. Yeah, let's go.
Take 5.
Andrew, you don't have the original color
No, we don't.
items,
But, in reality,
but I mean.
when
if
it was
we-
first approved, we didn't have the light samples and things like that. So it's something that we need to consider in the future in a big development.
I agree, but
Yeah.
if we had the
Right.
originals that we could see
Are
outside.
they still in there?
I'll check the closet on the way out. It might be. I think maybe you guys took it. If it's here,
Might still be in the closet.
okay. So,
Okay.
did you call the recess?
Out of curiosity, how many of those buildings are going to be each color?
Well, there are 9 apartment buildings.
Right.
So 4 and 5. They're alternating.
Okay, and do you have a number like the gray with the gray, the darker color? Are 5 of those buildings going to be that color, or 4? Do you have
The
you?
more dominant color is this, is the pearl, aged pewter.
Okay.
back in session.
Thank you for humoring us, going downstairs so we could look at all in the light. That did help.
Commissioner Stylin, I think we're with you.
Yeah, I still think that the gray on gray scheme is just too dark, and I would go back to the original greenish, beige-ish scheme. You know, maybe if you want to put the darker one on top of the lighter one, you know, that would be okay. But I just think the gray on gray is too dark. The other cobblestone and pewter, that's fine. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I was ready to go with this, but taking it outside, I would agree with Commissioner Stylin. Even outside, the two look too similar, and it doesn't give it much character, and the green will give it the character. Commissioner Dorban, how do you feel?
I agree. I think we just need to add that.
Back in.
Yeah, I just think it would give it a little more life in there and a little more differentiation from
Can
one
I
to the other.
make a suggestion, recommendation? If everybody's comfortable with the cobblestone and the aged pewter, but not 100% on the pearl gray and the night gray, let's put that aside. Let's go with the clubhouse with the aged pewter and the cobblestone in the first building, and then we'll come back and everybody can take a look at the samples out there, and I'll get more samples and keep working on the pearl gray and night gray for the second color combination.
Can we separate that?
Sure. What I just drafted up is a condition of approval that would allow that. It's the way that it reads is that the beige scheme is approved as shown, but an additional mock-up of an alternate color scheme must be provided prior to approval of the second scheme.
Great. When do you meet next?
The next meeting.
June
June
11th?
June 11th?
Commissioner Johnson, are you okay with the?
Yeah, after seeing it outside, yeah, I think that's too
Commissioner
dark.
Powers?
I agree.
Okay, great. There a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Powers, second by Commissioner Dorban. Mr. Secretary? With the condition that was stated.
Commissioner Dorband,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is yes, Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
Commissioner Stylin?
Yes.
And Chairman Fraudo,
Yes.
and one absent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say, though, I mean, the original, I'll just call it color scheme B, did have a slightly different trim color, and if he wanted the trims to be all the whiter color, I think that would be acceptable to me.
And if we could be notified when you have those colors up so we can go over there, that would be very helpful.
As soon as it's ready. you can
But, I
let me
mean,
know.
to your point, Commissioner Stein, I'm not sure what that means as far as the trim and what we would, I think we should leave it as it is.
Arctic white, consistent trim. That's the recommendation.
Well, I wouldn't mind that color trim on the greenish but Jim seems to want to leave it as it is right now.
Well, the issue is that we've just closed it. and-
Okay.
And
Okay.
we're,
But what we recommended on that was Arctic white, cobblestone, and aged pewter. So I think we're good
That
with
would-
that.
yes.
We come back with the other.
right,
scheme.
that's great.
All
Right.
right.
So, and maybe when the other scheme
June-
comes in, we can think about it then.
Yeah.
The building to the north of the clubhouse is not in danger of needing siding prior to mid-June.
No, no, we're in good shape.
Great,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have a copy of the decision sheet over there.
We have to sign that? Can we keep going?
Yeah, you can keep talking if you want.
Docket numbers 2015-6 and SCBA 15-19, Purple Sprout, 341 East Dundee Road, special use site plan approval, sit down and carry out restaurant and appearance approval of a wall sign. Mr. Secretary.
Let me finish this job.
Thank you.
All right. Irina Kuznetsova, is that right? Owner of Purple Sprout Lessee is seeking special use site plan approval as required under Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-06 Commercial Districts, Chapter 19-10 Use Regulations, Chapter 19-12 Site Plan Approval Requirements, and associated sections in order to establish a sit-down and carry-out restaurant at 341 East Dundee, which is Zone B3, General Commercial and Office District. The standards for special use. The zoning special use as defined in Title 19 of the Village of Wheeling zoning is a use of a parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to circumstances or effects on the surrounding properties that may adversely affect them. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at the public hearing why their request meets the conditions of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request for special use meets the standards established in Title 19. Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the village board. Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. Mr. Jennings?
We have just a couple of notes on this before we hand it over to the petitioner. The space had previously been used as a similar cafe style use for many years. The special use that had applied would normally carry over to a subsequent tenant. However, the period of vacancy extended beyond what our code allows. So that is the reason that you are reviewing this, despite the fact that there was a similar use in here previously. The items that you have in front of you include the special use as well as the sign. We did receive a minor modification to the sign. So in the images that you'll see on the slide, the tagline describing the nature of the business has been modified slightly, and we can get to that later on after the petitioner's presentation.
Thank you. Will you be the only one speaking tonight on this matter?
No, my husband will join
Okay.
me.
Could you please stand up, sir? And could you please both raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you give tonight to be the truth?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, great, thank you. And if you could give your names to our secretary, name and business address, that'd be great before you start. Thank you. The floor is yours to describe. The floor is yours to describe what you want to do with this piece of property.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Irina Kuznetsova, and this is my husband, Karim. We have been living in Wheeling since 2005. We have two small children. One of them goes to kindergarten at Whitman Elementary School. And we had our eyes on Riverside Plaza for quite a while. So we were very excited when finally an opportunity presented itself. So what we are proposing to build at the space at 341 East Dundee Road is a cafe that will focus on healthy, nutritious, and delicious food. And I have some pictures here that I would like to show you.
Yeah, let me just open that for you. It sounds like the mouse is not actually working. The other mouse is not working, so I can
Okay, if you
open
could
those up.
just start the slideshow,
Sure.
that would be great.
I will open that up for you. Okay.
In the meantime, I will continue. We will be offering cooked and raw vegan food, focusing on emphasizing, if you could, Andrew, if you could press the button in the middle, yeah, there we go. Thank you. Emphasizing beans, whole grains, fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Everything is made from scratch. Everything is fresh, no preservatives used, no refined flours, no sugar, so it's all very fresh, organic as much as available. We will be offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, 7 days a week. We will have some gluten-free options. Let's see what else I would like to say. The food will be served by, deli style. There will be a variety of pre-made refrigerated items. There will be a hot food buffet, just like the cafe before us did, and we thought that was a great idea to cater to a broad population. And what you see on the pictures here is everything that we make. Everything is handmade using the ingredients that I described, and no sugar, no refined sugar of any kind. We will have some frozen food. We will have some healthy snacks, dehydrated items. So in addition to what we will be making ourselves, we will also offer popular brands of healthy snacks. And in addition to that, we will be offering some products that emphasize healthy and natural lifestyle, such as books on nutrition, baby clothing made of natural materials, so something that people really have a need for. And we will be open, we anticipate to be open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Types of food service will include retail sales of food produced in-house, carry out, delivery in the future, catering for various occasions, indoor seating not to exceed 10 seats at this point. This is what we would like to get. And during the warmer season, up to 8 seats outside. The special use will not alter the special character of the locality, and it will not disrupt the harmonious development of the district. On the other hand, this is it's a very popular concept right now, especially healthy food, especially coupled with the juice bar, and this is what we are going to do. And what's great about it is that this is going to be the only such establishment at this scale in the neighboring northwest suburbs. And we think it will be a great addition to the wonderful collection of restaurants that Wheeling has.
Anything else? Would you like to maybe talk about the floor plan a little bit?
Sure.
I'll close this out for you and go to that.
Hi, my name is Karim. Thanks for the opportunity to present our business. And we are very proud to live in Wheeling and to start our endeavor here too. So the floor plan will not change much. Will not change much from what it is right now. There will be some adjustments as far as couple of walls that needs to be moved. One wall should just go down, and that is made for the convenience of the food handling, so that way we can handle food better and safer, as we thought and considered it. Also,
it was Beverly Slaby's suggestion, and we decided to go with it to open up
yes, it will also open up some space additionally, so that will provide a little more comfort working in the kitchen. Then in the front there will be some changes as far as the display coolers will be readjusted to different positions. The counter will also go between the coolers in a kind of round shape that will have the juice bar right behind it. The display coolers will carry the food that are frozen and refrigerated, desserts mainly. The hot food buffet will have some hot food items in it, and it will be served to go. The refrigerator that has the doors to the front, also there will have some displays in it to have the dehydrated snacks and different kind of snacks, including the frozen snacks too. So there will be the partition that's there now will go down, and we'll open up the space there for the seating. As Irina mentioned, there will be some seating there. So we will change the interior. We'll paint it and decorate it differently, of course. We'll change the floor. The floor will be changed both in the front and the back. And once we had the inspectors walk through earlier this month, we already discussed some main points of how it's going to be organized, and we gotten some good suggestions on how to organize it there. So we're working on it. We have our architect here with us, and basically he's just coordinating all this process of designing and everything that we're trying to build. So, but as we go and as we start doing the remodeling there, some ideas will be in and out. So we're anticipating, some dynamics there as far as the design itself inside. So, but on the outside, the main concern is for us right now is your approval of our sign, and so we can proceed with a special use of this place.
Great, thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this item? Good, we're good. We will start with our commissioners. Commissioner Steinman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question down in the front, in the register counter area. There's something that says that the box right in the front that says existing display fridge. Is that going to be displaying food items out the front window, or
Yes.
how is that? Is it going to be seen from the inside? It just looks like it might be in an odd
Right.
spot.
Well, it looks like it is an odd spot, but it will be turned towards the window in the front, so the people walking outside can see the display, and it will
Can see the
open,
fresh produce.
Okay,
from.
that's good. Andrew, they said they have 10 seats inside, and with your computation that said that they would need 4 parking spaces, is that correct?
For the indoor seating?
Yes.
Yes, we typically round.
And then there's no additional parking required for the outside seating.
That's correct.
And you're going to have a carry-out business. Do you have any idea what percentage of your business is going to be carry-out? Is there going to be more carry-out than in?
Yes, we anticipate it to be more, especially around lunchtime.
Do you have any idea how much more?
It's really difficult to gauge at this point. Probably no less than 50% will be carry out.
Okay. And I guess my only other concern about the parking in your write-up, you said in the future you would like to do cooking demonstrations and have cooking classes once a month that would host about 20 people.
Correct, yes.
Andrew, what kind of, are you going to have seating in the building for 20 people on those days? Or?
Yes, we are planning to use folding chairs for people to sit around in a theater-like arrangement. And what we are going to cook is mostly foods that don't require cooking, basically raw vegan food. So, but there should be no issues with the parking. We have monitored the parking situation over a few weeks, and there seems to be plenty of parking available. And these cooking demonstrations, they're going to happen infrequently.
But when you do have them, I mean, it would help if you said that they're at nighttime, because I presume the rest of the businesses in
Yes.
the center will probably be closed, and then there would be
yes.
no parking
Yes.
problems at
Correct,
all.
you are absolutely right, yes.
So could you tell us a little bit
In the
about,
off hours,
in the
off hours.
off hours? Is that acceptable, Andrew?
That is something that the staff did speak with the petitioner about prior to writing the report, and we were comfortable with their explanation that it was infrequent and typically off hours. I believe after you're closed was the answer we got, right?
Yes, later hours.
Can we add that as a condition?
I think that'd be very good to add that.
And you know, I think the frequency, you know, if they wanted to go 4 times a month, that wouldn't bother me that much. So, you know,
Right.
I'd rather not restrict them.
Restrict the number, but restrict the times that it happens.
Exactly.
Right. I think everybody would be in concurrence with that, yes.
And that's all I have. I wish you the best of luck, and I enjoyed the pictures that you showed, and I hope the people sitting and watching at home on TV enjoyed them as well. So
Thank you very
every
much.
little bit of advertising helps.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dorban?
Thank you. Not that this has anything to do with this, I'm just curious, because your pictures were so amazing, and the food looks just so appetizing. Have you done this before? I mean, it just seems you're so well organized, you must have done this before. This didn't just happen.
It's, we do have experience in the restaurant business, but mostly what this is personal passion turned into a professional calling.
And so you'll be preparing all this food on site,
Correct, yes.
and you're only going to have just the two of you? Or you talked about 2 to 5, I know, in your paperwork. But I'm curious how you're going to do this, because that seems like an awful lot.
Well, we will have seasonal menus, so not everything will be prepared at the same time. For example, in the fall, we will be emphasizing squash and pumpkin and things like that. In the summertime, we'll emphasize more raw salads and berries, so it's not going to be all at the same time.
That looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Should we talk about the sign now, or do you want to handle that separately?
No, please, if you want. I was actually going to.
And I'm sure you've worked with Bev regarding the dry storage and everything, and she's all good with that, correct?
Yes, she
Okay.
said dry storage is sufficient.
Okay. Okay.
She has been over twice.
And as far as the sign, I just have, I noticed that the facade on the back of that wall, it probably needs some repair or something.
So typically what we would do with the wood shake style facade, during our facade inspection prior to issuing a permit for a sign like this, we would have your sign company, whoever is responsible, the landlord may ask you to use their particular maintenance contractor to replace the shakes that have holes in them. They do age within a year or so to match the other shakes.
Actually, we just met with our landlord, future landlord, last week, and he assured us that they will be replaced.
Well, I have to say, I love the sign. I think it's very creative, and I think it's really interesting and different, and thank you for going that extra step to make it look a little different, because that'll set you apart from somebody else in the shopping center. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Just as a reminder, that is a different tagline that's being shown now than what was in our packets.
That's correct.
Okay, great.
Which one is,
The one that's being displayed now is the one that's going to be,
okay,
The motion would then reflect
Right.
this design.
okay.
Commissioner Johnson?
I guess at first I had a question about the number of seats inside, why only 10? But now that you talk about having the classes and you would fill up that space, I guess it's a non-issue. And that's really the only question I had. I think it looks like a great concept and wish you luck.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powers?
The only question I had is that the outdoor seating is going to be seasonal, right?
Correct.
So, and it looks like you have 4 tables and 8 chairs. Do you think there would be any need for any type of trash container outside at all? Or is there any,
There are trash containers installed.
Right
Outside.
behind these columns.
oh, so
Right behind the
there's an
pillars on
existing
the-
one there already?
They're attached to the
correct.
columns on the
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. I think it's a great use. Your food looks amazing, and I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Please come visit us.
I have nothing. It's a great concept, and welcome to the village.
Thank you.
So, do I hear any other questions?
We do have 2 conditions of approval suggested on this. One is just a code requirement. I'll get to that in a second. So the first condition that was suggested, cooking demonstrations shall be conducted in the evening when the majority of the adjacent businesses are closed. I believe there's consensus for that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And the second one, just looking at the diagram, I wanted to make sure that there's adequate walkway space. You have the columns. We have a minimum requirement off of the back of that curve there with the seats. We may need to work with you on exactly what kind of outdoor seating you have, just so that the minimum clear space is kept. So the second condition then is that the outdoor seating is subject to confirmation that the minimum required walkway space is provided.
Great. So do I hear a motion on?
So moved.
On 2015?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dorban, second by Commissioner Powers. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Dorban,
Yes.
Commissioner Powers.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is a yes. Commissioner Stylen.
Yes.
And Chairman Raffato.
Yes.
May I ask you when you anticipate opening?
You hungry?
Estimate August.
Pardon?
End of August, beginning
Wow.
of September.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I really do appreciate their sign and would ask that we throw them into the competition for the Creative Sign Award.
I would-
And if we need to close the docket, I make that motion.
Well, I'd like to do the appearance approval.
Oh.
On the wall sign. Haven't done that yet.
I thought we just did that.
No, we
No,
just
that
did the
was a
site
special
plan.
use.
Okay.
We just did the site plan. That's all right, but I'll take you up on closing it when we're there.
I'll make a motion to approve.
With the, you have a condition.
Change in text.
On the change in
The-
text.
And I have both conditions, one relating to the Cedar Shakes, and the other, that the sign plan is the May 28th sign plan.
And I'll second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Powers, second by Commissioner Stylen. Mr. Secretary?
Commissioner Powers?
Yes.
Commissioner Stylen?
Yes.
Did you forget who?
Commissioner Dorban?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, yes. Chairman Raffato?
Yes. Motion to close?
So moved.
All those in favor?
I got you.
Okay, great. You'll have a few things to sign, and good luck, and
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Don't forget your
Gotta move.
flash drive.
I'm not in the mood for no.
Let me eject it for you, just gonna grab it. Got it?
Shall I just pull it out?
Let me eject it, just real quick.
Ejected.
Okay, good to go. nice to go over at lunch, a little buffet. One of the places I used to eat at in New York was kind of like that. When I had to go to the Manhattan office, I didn't have to go down there that often, but when I had to go present for the big wigs, I'd go down and grab buffet, throw together a little something. Reminds me of that.
Vegetarian thing?
I was a vegetarian at the time.
Oh. Weren't you a vegetarian when you started? No?
No. Up until 2002 maybe.
Oops. Got a bunch of things here. There you go. Approval of minutes for May 14th, 2015. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we hear
Abstain.
abstain? You're just not in there yet, you,
He's just not,
it's not,
Speed it up.
you're off a couple meetings and you just. Yeah.
I'll work on him over here.
Other business, Mr. Jennings?
Have nothing.
Okay. Commissioner Powers?
I have nothing.
Commissioner Johnson?
Nothing here.
Commissioner Dorban?
Oh, yes, I do have something. I'm so excited, the state has actually fixed the road on McHenry Road by MB Bank. They actually were working on it, and the bump sign is actually gone. I'm one happy camper now. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Stylen?
Nothing tonight. Way off.
I have nothing. Brooke? Nothing. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned. Will we have a meeting on?